Sweet nectar of life. I've got a problem. It's like 7 in the morning and I'm drinking a Diet Coke. There's got to be something in the stuff that's addictive. I don't know what it is, but like it improves my mood when I drink it. Anyway, so this is the master cylinder out of my truck. The reason I replaced it is because the brakes were feeling kind of sloppy. Well, that's interesting. I wonder how that works. Huh. I have to look at that a little closer. So this is the fluid level sensor. Anyway, I replaced it because the brakes were kind of squishy. Bled them. And usually what happens, or the cause of that is the master cylinder is leaking down a little bit. So there's some brake fluid sliding by the seal. Put it in a new master cylinder, and it doesn't seem to be a whole heck of a lot better. Yeah, so after I put it in, it kind of seems like it's really not a whole heck of a lot better. I mean, it's a little bit better. These are the plugs just left over. I stuck them in here to keep the goo from leaking out. So this guy would be the level sensor. There's only 2 prongs in there. Kind of wonder how it works. That's interesting. I don't know. Maybe we shall find some clues as we get deeper in. So this top piece is the reservoir. There's going to be a little screen here just to keep the big chunks out. This reservoir, maybe I should have put down some protective barrier. All right, so we'll see if we can take off the reservoir here. Interesting little fastener there. So really all that does is just secure the reservoir to the rest of the brake cylinder. Alright, so we got 2 ports here. I know in theory how this thing works, but I don't really know how it works in reality. Alright, we got 2 little seals here. Looks very similar to the seals we saw in the master cylinder teardown, clutch master cylinder. Okay, a little double lip there. Got a little piece of metal. Whatever that is, that appears to be threaded. Alright, these 2 seals look to be more or less identical. Oh, there's a part number. Oh my gosh. Alright, looks like an ABN. Nope, they are different. So this is an AB200 and this is an AB202. So this one is 2 better than this one. I think that's what that means. Oh, hold up. AB300. I'm sorry. I misspoke. This is a 300 and this is a 202. So this is like 98 better than this one. I was completely screwed up. But yeah, I mean, it feels like you know, rubber, or yeah, it actually does kind of feel like rubber. As stiff as it is. Doesn't really feel like silicone or anything. Okay, so we got 2 holes here. We got 2 little journals there that look like they go back into the cylinder. As far as this reservoir goes, it would be interesting to break it open and have a look. Let's see, maybe the saw. Okay, A lot of plastic shavings here. I actually just put it on the circ saw and ripped her right in two. Okay. I think I see what's going on here. So I'm going to guess that this little guy is magnetic. So I bet you, even though it's plastique, oh, make me a liar. Yeah, there's a little piece of metal here. Yeah, and it's definitely a magnet because it's scooting my little. Yeah, see here. See, it's a little 2-pole magnet. Yeah, so that's a magnet, and this is just a, I guess like a Hall effect sensor. So as this magnet gets close, it's going to trip the sensor. Maybe we'll cut that open a little later. So that just floats. Whoa. That floats in the brake fluid up and down, and tells you when you're low. It gets close enough to the sensor, it trips it. May even be like a reed switch type of deal. I don't know. I'll cut it open in a little bit. Okay, so primarily what I wanted to look at here was this guy. So we got one hole here, and this sat on here like this. Yeah. Okay, so this sat on here like this. So we've got one hole that's just open and goes down to this port. So I guess we'll see what's going on when we pull this apart. And then this guy, which appears to vent into where the float is, which is interesting. So this is held in with a snap ring, my favorite of all retaining devices. Yeah, and I hate these things. Fuck. Woo! That was exciting. All right. Now, why you no come? All right. So why does this guy not want? I think it looks like it's kind of working its way out as I pump it. As most things do, work their way out when you pump them. So my initial thought here as to what's going on in this thing, it looks like baffles to me to keep slow down the sloshing of the fluid. So theoretically, you should never have it slosh away, even if it got low. It should never slosh away from any of these little journals long enough to cause air to get into the system. I think that's what's going on here with all the baffling. Yeah, I mean, it's just the top, nothing special going on there. We will continue to try and get this apart. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole right through there and then hope for the best. Oh, almost forgot. Nectar of life. Man, thing's thick. That's what she said. And we're through. Alright. So let me get something to whack my way through there, as I frequently find myself doing. I'm not even sure what that means. A punch. Alright, it's going to require the vise and a hammer. My trusty ball peen hammer. Well, that was a workout. Alright. Fuck. There's another one in there. Okay, so on this end, what do we got? Oop. A little roll pin. Or not roll pin, but just dowel pin. Alright, so there's a pin. Alright, now that pin fell all the way through. So now, should just slide right out of there, in theory. Seriously? I can't for the life of me get this piece out of here. So, I think I'm going to have to cut it. I'm not sure what it's hanging up on, but I'm going to cut it right along here and we'll see what we can see. Woo! Alright. So, I am going to bet money that these two little journals go all the way up here. And that was up behind the float. Alright. Then these two little journals look like they just go straight through here. So there was a pin that fixtured whatever the heck this thing is in place. Alright, let me keep track of which way it was going. Alright, so that was like that. That was like that. That was in my toolbox. And this was like that. Alright. How about framing? Okay, so we got two journals that are going all the way to the front and are going to be sitting in between this seal and this seal. There was also a pin which sits there, which I'm guessing serves the purpose to actuate this cylinder. So this guy, when you push on it, well, that's interesting. All right, let's try this again. So, what we got here, thought about it for a little bit. What we got is an output for, say, the front and an output for, say, the back, right? So, you're going to want more braking force on the, well, hold up. So this must be the front and this must be the back because this one's going to travel further. All right. So when this thing's sitting in here normally, we've got this pressure section here is going to push the fluid out of this, whatever you call it, hole. This pressure section from here back is going to push the fluid out of this hole. And you can see that. And by the way, this torn seal could have been what was causing it to not work quite right. And this was sitting right here. It was pinned. So, a couple of reasons for this, I think, or at least a reason is that it's some redundancy. So let's see. Let's think through a couple scenarios here. Let's say that this seal, or let's say there's a leak in this line, right? So there's a leak in this line. So when you step down, the fluid is just going to get pumped out of the hole, wherever it is in the brake line. Then this one will still work because we've still got a seal over here. This is still going to propel this valve down this way, and you'll still have at least 50% of your brakes. Now, of course, if it's your rear brakes, you're only going to have like 30% of your brakes because front wheels do 70% of the braking, yada, yada, yada. Okay, and conversely, if there's a leak over here, then this seal is going to go ahead and pressurize this line. Now, something that I'm still confused about here is what was going on with this guy. So it's been long enough that I've completely forgotten how this was arranged. Fairly certain it was arranged like that. Okay. So let me think. Oh, I think I see what's going on. So this is kind of like an emergency reservoir type deal. So once you get up to the max line there, it's going to overflow into this secondary reservoir, let's say, which is going to power just the rear set, because these journals run up here, which is up behind. So let me think about that. So that's going to move. Aha! A clue. So let's see here. All right, so this is making more and more sense the more I look at it. So this back portion here, these are to allow fluid to come in behind the seal. Because, yeah, it makes sense. If you created a vacuum on the back side of this, eventually the seal's either going to fail or it's going to be very difficult to push that in. Okay, so I'm with you on that. That makes sense. So that still brings me back to this guy, which is that shuttle that's in the middle there, which is going to go from here to here. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. That's all that's going on. All right, well, thanks for watching.